Like Rylee Foundation.
Live Like Rylee Foundation.
The Live Like Rylee Foundation.
Live Like Rylee.
Live Like Rylee.
Well, who's Rylee?
Rylee was one of the first people in Midland, Odessa who even believed in the gift that God had on my life. I could just remember like her being so adamant about people needing Jesus, needing to experience the love of Jesus.
The first person to ever text me from this church was Rylee. She simply reached out and said, "Hey, I heard you might be interested in serving with students." Now, it's funny because we look back years later and I got to step on staff and be a part of what God's doing here. Even though I didn't have a long-term friendship with Rylee, just in the short time that we knew each other, her life has made just a profound impact on mine.
I never got to meet Rylee, but when her health declined, I was in middle school and I saw a bunch of my friends selling these Live Like Rylee bracelets. They were orange bracelets. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give them $1, and I did, and I wore the bracelet. So I happened to ask my friend, well, who's Rylee? Something lit me that I needed to go to church with her, and that's what just brought me to Crossroads. And then I went to Rush and camp and everything, and just really met the people in this community and in this church, and that's when I realized these are the people that I want to be surrounded with.
The Great Commission tells us to be the light and to spread the gospel. And that's something that I know that I'm called to do as a pastor. We were a young church, and so as we've been growing, that number has been growing, and with costs and everything, Live Like Rylee has been just a godsend partner to help us get young people to camp, which I know is a core part of their core values, but also in getting young people to youth camp, it introduces them to the love of Christ and to a relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ. I had to hear from parents, and it broke my heart for them to say, financially, we cannot make it to camp. And I had to tell myself, I'm not going to let finances be a reason that a student doesn't meet Jesus.
We were all just there, and like you can feel like God. It's kind of like a pulsing, like he's just like, you can feel like a heartbeat.
If it wasn't for what the Live Like Rylee Foundation did, they wouldn't have gone.
I got diagnosed with cancer when I was 17 in August 2022. I was playing football, and suddenly I didn't know that was going to be my last football game during the spring game.
My world just came crashing down. We came to the point that if not him, if not us, then who? I was able to be with LeBron every day on his side, on my knees praying for him every day because of the foundation.
March of 2023, essentially, we got told that it was like so urgent that I needed to go the next day because Kaylee was hydropic. We did test after test. I had endured several transfusions. Ultimately, they just told us like, we don't know what's gonna happen. We can't even give you a diagnosis. It was the hardest time of my life.
We had to literally pick up and uproot ourselves to live in Austin in some of our darkest times.
All we had was God. The community, Carrie and Jason, they weren't just saying like, hey, we're here if you need us. They didn't wait for an answer. They showed up anyways.
The work that many people, including Rylee, started is continuing today because God is faithful.
I don't know if I would have turned my life to God if it wasn't for them.
What the Live Like Rylee Foundation did is way bigger than giving us a grant. They wrote somebody's story. They wrote somebody's Jesus story